that honestly, as a minister to that age group, I'm still trying to figure some of that out
Sure.
every day. But a couple of things that are really important to recognize is that transition from high school to college. It's such a key transition point in a young person's life. Honestly, Andy, that's when the Lord really met me, is right after I graduated from high school. He put some people in my life, some peers, that became a huge influence on me actually pursuing my faith in the next few years. And then the Lord spoke to me and called me into ministry in that next season of my life. So for me, that 17 to 22-year-old age range,
Yeah.
I just see that as such a pivotal time in
Right.
a young person's life. And a lot of it comes down to the fact that they're experiencing more freedom than they've ever had. And so what's really critical is having the right voices around them to point them in the right direction for prioritization and things to be involved with, but you
Yeah.
can't force them anymore. You know?
Right.
And so I like the term that you use is how do you shepherd those
Yeah.
young people? And I think that's what it is you got to be there, kind of keeping involved in their lives and giving them some gentle reminders or nudges or resources or suggestions
Yeah.
to help them stay focused and stay thinking about the things that they probably know are important, but just aren't quite ready to like do on their own. So putting those voices, whether it be at home, keeping them connected to a church, having mentors and other people involved in their lives, and just reminding them, hey, are you setting the right priorities? Are you involved with the right kind of people?
Yeah.
It's okay if you don't have things all figured out. It's okay if you're still figuring out how to, be independent, but man, we're here for you, and we want to make sure that you have the support and the resources.
Yeah, I mean,
you
it's
need.
it's interesting to think about that age, turning 18 now, whether you're acting like it or not, legally you're an adult,
Yeah.
one way or the other. And as that's often where I've personally observed a lot of young people who are in the church, they just kind of leave. And as you're saying, you can't force something on that age group. They now have their own choices to make.
Yep.
And sometimes as parents, it can be a little bit difficult to watch. But then as the church or however we look at it, how can we engage with those who are kind of maybe on the bubble?
Yeah. Well, first of all, one of the things that we've seen over the years, and especially like guys our age, parent age, we're kind of thinking back to when we were that age, and we had a lot more responsibilities in place at that, 18, 19-year-old mark.
Right.
And, there's this thing that's been termed extended adolescence that's really been part of our culture with young people over the last several decades, is really when we've seen this extension. And I've heard some psychologists or sociologists refer to 28 as the new 18,
Wow.
So there's like things that we were experiencing at 18, 19, 20, milestones in life or responsibilities, like even things like getting married or having a full-time job and being self-sustaining, moving out of the house, all of these kind of things, which for us was maybe taking place between 18 and 22. Now we're not seeing young people take some of those steps until later in their 20s. And we can be frustrated by it.
Sure.
And we can kind of like look down on that generational gap and the differences and be like, oh, these kids, they don't have it together. Like when I was your age, I was doing this, and that, like get it together. And so we have to understand that times change and culture changes and norms change. And whether we like it or not doesn't matter. They change whether we like it or not.
Right.
How are we engaging with those people? And I think that a lot of times young people, even within the church, they get almost singled out and feeling like, oh man, everybody just says things about my generation,
Sure.
or they're not there to support us. They're just there to criticize us. Like they don't even understand. And that can be true. We can fail to understand, and we can fail to offer the support or act with intention to help them through those things instead of just like looking down on them and criticizing them for those things. So I think that's really important for anyone in the church or anyone with influence on a young adult's life.
Yeah.
Is, hey, it's not the same as it was when you were that age.
Yeah.
So understand that and don't expect them to be the same, but then how do you listen and understand where they're coming from and be a supportive voice to help them figure things out in the time that they have?
Right. Yeah. It's so interesting to talk about. You're talking about, well, what I'm hearing you say is 18-year-olds plus, and probably teenagers as well, are taking on a level of responsibility later than maybe what we were used to. What I've kind of observed in recent years with my own kids' friends is there's no rush to get a driver's license.
Right.
And I find that to be so interesting because on my 16th birthday, I was at
You
the
were there.
DMV. Of course.
You're parallel parking and getting that thing stamped.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, when you look at ministry for young people, I'm just going to say, having said that, I've seen just a real excitement among certain groups of young people in the church in El Paso to take on responsibility in the church. How do you see that?
Yeah, and so that's the cool thing that happens is when we listen to them and when we invest in them, then this is a generation that is about action. They they don't shy away from doing things and taking on responsibilities. You just have to kind of like almost coach them to that, right? And so some of the things that we're seeing is a desire for community and a desire for impact. And I think there's a real hunger, and one of the things that I struggle with sometimes as a pastor to that age group is doing our normal ministry stuff week to week, whether it be Sunday morning Bible study or midweek events. I sense oftentimes a frustration, and sometimes it's even verbalized, like, I want to go deeper. I want to, like, I feel like I know all this stuff, right? And as a pastor, I struggle with that because, like, I hear you, but I can't leave, like, those who need kind of the basics, I can't leave them behind.
Right.
Those settings are kind of to bring everybody on the same page. And so I hear them saying, man, I want to go deeper. I want to go deeper. And I sense that tension of, I want to help you go deeper, but I also don't want to leave others behind. So it's awesome when you see some things pop up where they take the initiative and say, you know what, we're going to do this on our own. We're going to initiate this,
right,
and provide this opportunity for our peers and whoever else wants to be a part of it. And so we're seeing some of that happen around the city through whether it be small groups or little, almost like parachurch ministries that start up,
right.
That become kind of a community of young people from a variety of backgrounds, a variety of churches, but coming together for a specific purpose. And that's cool to see.
Yeah.
Because it's like, that's what we want them to be able to do,
right.
and that's what they're doing.
So what I'm hearing you say is sometimes you're leading a Bible study, whatever the case would be, and some of the youth are saying, this isn't enough, Pastor.
Yeah.
And so it's difficult. I mean, even at the radio station, it's how do we put out a message that reaches the people who've been in the church since 1923 and those who are just flipping through the stations and haven't darkened a church door maybe ever in their life. How do you engage all those people?
Right.
And what you're saying is among the youth is what's often happening is those who want to go deeper are looking to lead out in that.
Yeah. And so we can, I mean, the key thing there is, they still need guidance. They still need wisdom from those of us who have a little more experience, but they're ready for that. And instead of like waiting till they have it all figured out, giving them that encouragement and being like, yeah, you can do that.
Right.
And I'm going to be here to support you.
Yeah.
And then letting them kind of run with that and use what God has given them. And they're going to make mistakes just like you and I made mistakes when we were young and in ministry. But their heart is for the Lord, and they're seeking to further His kingdom. They're seeking to further their commitment to Him, and it's really cool to see.
Super cool. If you're just joining us, we're with Pastor Jeremy Kroeker. He's the minister of youth and college at First Baptist Church here in El Paso. He's also the interim director at the Baptist Student Mission here in El Paso. We're just talking about the challenges and the opportunities and what's going on with kids these days. And I think it is important for us in the older generation to be interested in this, to cheer them on, to hear them out, as you were saying. We do need to go into a break, but before we go into the break, we have a very, very special person on the phone. Mrs. Frecka, how are you doing this afternoon?
I'm doing well, thank you. How are you, Andy?
I'm doing great. So for those who don't know,
Good.
this is my wife, Rachel Frecka. She's the head of school over at Emmanuel Christian School here in El Paso. You were calling me about what? I'm on air right now.
Well, tomorrow is a very special day for us here at Emmanuel, so we just wanted to take a minute to invite all of your listeners. If anyone has children and they're interested in Christian education, we're going to be having an open house tomorrow.
Oh, open house at Emmanuel Christian School. So I said this on air the other day. I don't think you heard it. Why did you stop homeschooling?
Oh, gosh, that's a loaded question. We'll probably have to do a whole 915 talk for that conversation. There were a lot of reasons, but I believe in Christian education, always have, and so that was what we felt the Lord was calling us to do.
Yeah, that's a nice way of saying that the kids were tired of it, and so were you. No, I think it's a great opportunity. That's why we want our listeners to know. I know, some people are called by the Lord to have their kids in public school. Some are in homeschool, whatever the case may be. But if you're wondering just what the opportunities are out there, what's happening at Emmanuel, there's an open house tomorrow. So that's January 21st. Give us the details.
So the open house will be from 8:15 in the morning to 11:30, and the great thing about it is that it'll give you an opportunity to see our classes, to talk to our administration, talk to some teachers. You'll get to sit in on our chapel worship led by our secondary students, grab a bite to eat in the cafeteria, but really it'll just give you a pretty good overview of what Emmanuel is all about and if it might be the place for your family.
Okay, so 8:15 a.m. at Emmanuel Christian School, which is on the corner of Viscount and Hawkins. Do we need to register or we just show up?
Nope, you can just show up. Be there at 8:15. We'll get you all registered and ready to go, and we look forward to seeing as many as possible tomorrow.
All right. Well, thank you, Mrs. Frecka, for that.
You're very welcome. Thank you, Andy.
I love you.
Love you too. Bye.
All right, bye. We'll be back with Pastor Jeremy Kroeker after this break. Do not touch that dial.
We'll be right back. Don't touch that dial.
915 Talk is listener supported and is a production of Desert Voice Media. That's right. It's people just like you who make this program possible. Together with Desert Voice, you can learn how to better serve our neighbors and pray for our community. To become a Desert Voice Media partner, you can visit desertvoice.media. That's right. That's the website, desertvoice.media. Take a look and join us today in reaching our borderland for Christ.
Are you looking for a school that offers excellent academics in a safe, loving, Christ-centered environment? Emmanuel Christian School has been serving the families of the borderland through Christian education since 1969. With over 500 students in preschool through 12th grade, Emmanuel Christian School offers a wide variety of educational opportunities, spiritual discipleship, competitive athletics, and extracurricular activities. Learn more at our Discover Emmanuel open house. You will meet students and teachers, experience chapel, preview our curriculum, and tour the school. You can even grab a free lunch in our cafeteria. Join us Wednesday, January 21st from 8:15 to 11:30 a.m. at Emmanuel Christian School on the corner of Hawkins and Viscount to learn more. Or call us at 778-6160 for more information. That's Emmanuel Christian School, 778-6160, or online at www.emmanuelwarriors.org.
Testify.
I used to be a very angry person at the world, being young, having kids, having a wife, being a father, just meeting those expectations that the world puts on you. It's not about the world, it's about, your relationship with God. And I didn't realize that until I was older, and because I was living a life that I shouldn't have been living a sinful life, living for the flesh instead of living for God. I was hanging around people I probably shouldn't have hang around with, drinking, going out to parties and coming home like 2, 3 in the morning. There was one day that I completely broke down. My son was asking me like, Dad, how come you're like this? How come you're always mad? And yeah, that day I did end up bringing out my Bible. I just broke down and started crying, because I felt the way Paul felt. Read your Bible, guys. If you don't know what to read, go into Proverbs, go into Psalms. God, He's protected me in so many different ways. He's the reason why I'm here. I'm trying to help other people reach God. He could truly change your life. My name is Miguel Ipave. I'm from El Paso. And if Jesus did this for me, I know He could definitely do it for you.
And they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb
And by the word of their testimony.
desertvoice.media.
We're back. You're listening to 915 Talk.
We are back, and you are listening to 915 Talk. I'm your host, Andy Frecka. Today we're with Pastor Jeremy Kroeker. He's the minister of youth and college at First Baptist Church here in El Paso. He's also the interim director at the Baptist Student Mission. Jeremy, we were talking during the break. A lot of churches in our community have a youth group, and they have ministry for the adults, but nothing for that college age. Speak into that.
Yeah, I think that's such a common thing, and what you see is a lot of churches really making an effort for kids and youth, and then kind of expecting them once they graduate from high school to just become an adult in the church and then participate in adult Sunday school or join the men's group or whatever, and that's great. I think that there's definitely a place for that. But we often they fall through the cracks. That's one way of saying it. Is because they're coming out of high school and they're not ready to be just another adult in the church. Even if they've gotten involved in the church, they're just at a unique stage of their life, and they're like coming out of you're having opportunities for events and trips, which a lot of youth ministries are characterized by, and then to just kind of sitting around sipping on a coffee and talking about cars or insurance, with adults, and they're not ready.
What's your
for
401k
that shit.
plan?
Yeah, exactly. And so it's a unique stage of life, and so a lot of churches would say, well, we only have a couple of students in that age, a couple of young adults.
We're stretched as it is.
And I get that, and my previous church that I served at was kind of in that stage. Is like we had a youth ministry, but the handoff to college / young adult ministry, there just wasn't that many there. But we saw a need, and we did our best to meet that. But I always think of it as a bridge ministry, and you don't have to do it yourself, and that's something that I think pastors and leaders need to be aware of what's happening in the city. And we shouldn't be afraid of recommending or encouraging students to go and be involved in some of the things that other churches are doing that will meet them in that age stage, that will help disciple them. And you still have that connection to them. And one of those opportunities is the Baptist Student Ministry over at UTEP. It's called the BSM of El Paso, but they're right next to the UTEP campus. There's a building right on the corner of University and Oregon. It's right next to the Whataburger. If you know what that is. Right on Mesa, right by UTEP. And the BSM is kind of one of those ministries that's designed to be a place for college-age students, college-age young adults, to have a gathering point, to be encouraged, to have ministry opportunities, but it's not a church. They encourage church involvement.
Sure.
And so if you're between 18 and 24 years old, you're welcome at the BSM, and they do Tuesday night worship times. They do Wednesday a free lunch outreach where they present the gospel to anyone who shows up.
Yeah, it was fun. We had Tevin Caldwell on this program. He's the head basketball coach at Chapin.
Yeah.
They're kind of the perennial high school basketball champions here in El Paso. And he talked about how when he was playing basketball at UTEP, that's how he ended up at BSM. And I think kind of recommitting his life to the Lord is he was looking for more food because he was an athlete.
Exactly.
It was free lunch.
And that's one thing, again, on the board, he was joking about the food coordinator position. That's a real thing, man. I mean, Tuesday nights we're feeding these students dinner at the BSM, Wednesday's lunch, and then we have, a number of other ministries that happen during the week. But that's a big draw. Is like, hey, this is a safe place. We'll feed you. We'll encourage you. We'll give you opportunities for more.
Yeah.
And that's not trying to steal people away from their their church. It's a way of meeting them in that stage of their life, connecting them with peers who are on the same path of following Jesus, or hopefully, pointing and pulling people along to follow Jesus, and equipping them and giving them opportunities that your church cannot provide.
Yeah.
But it's feeding into their lives, and it's getting them ready to come back and serve in your church.
Yeah.
And so evangelism, discipleship, and church involvement are key values for the BSM.
Right.
And again, it's called the Baptist Student Ministry, but it's not strictly for Baptists.
It's
and we're
ministry,
not promoting
not
all,
mission. I keep on saying mission.
Yeah, they call it different things around the state, actually.
Okay.
There's some that are BCMs and some that are
okay.
BSUs, and here it's the BSM, as in
Okay.
Baptist Student Ministry.
Okay.
And so we're there for students, and we're there to evangelize, disciple, and send them back to be involved in your church.
Right.
And I think that those kind of connections can kind of bridge that gap and meet that hole that so many churches find is, man, we just don't have resources to build a whole college ministry. And honestly, even if you did, they're ready for a different voice. They're ready for new friends.
Yeah.
And some of these community organizations and ministry opportunities can get them that community that they're looking for.
Yeah.
Some fresh voices that are saying the same thing. They're pointing them towards the gospel. They're pointing them to be like Jesus and to love your neighbor as yourself. And then they're equipping them to have a greater passion and more experiences like mission trip opportunities and retreats and things that are going to continue to be formative in their faith. But it's something that's specifically related and tied to their age group.
Right.
And so I just see so many people benefit from a ministry like that, a parachurch ministry that comes alongside what you're doing as a church, but can provide some extra resources so you don't have to reinvent the wheel and do stuff that's already happening.
Yeah.
Send them over to that ministry, encourage them to be involved, and it's going to strengthen them to be a better member in your church and a better contributor to what God is doing there.
Yeah, I love it, and I do want to dive deeper into that. If you're just joining us, we're with Pastor Jeremy Kroeker. He's the minister of youth in college at First Baptist here in El Paso, and we're going to do something we normally don't do. We have about 25 minutes left in this program. We are live on this January 20th. If you do have a question about youth ministry or just youth in general, and you want to ask Pastor Jeremy, you can give us a call. We'll put you on air, 915-779-0016. Again, that's 915-779-0016. Before we continue this conversation with Pastor Jeremy, we do have Charlie 1 on the phone. Charlie 1, what are you seeing out on the roads this afternoon? Kenneth says, hold on. We're about to hear from Charlie 1 what's going out on the roads this afternoon. I've never seen this happen before. Kenny's having a long conversation with him. Kenny, you just need to patch him through. Yeah, he's yelling. Yeah, all right, Charlie 1, what are you seeing out on the roads this afternoon?
Two trouble spots right now, Andy. And I'm going to start first with I-10 and Joe Battle. This I-10 westbound lanes at Joe Battle. They're dealing with a crash. Now, this pulled over to the right shoulder here. About 3 vehicles involved, but just slowing down a little bit to look at it. I-10 west at Joe Battle. Stick to the east side for a little bit. Gateway west at Don Haskins. We have the left lane taken away. They're doing construction there. Zaragoza south at Don Haskins. Right turn lane is closed right there. Also, let's go to northeast for a bit. Woodrow Bean and Dyer. Lane closures here at Woodrow Bean and Dyer. A lot of construction going on, so just careful in these areas. I-10 East, looking at I-10 East through that spaghetti bowl area. A little bit of tap in there on the brakes. And Andy, back to you.
Charlie 1, today we have Pastor Jeremy Kroeker with us. We're talking about youth ministry, youth fellowship, and I know a lot of young people, particularly here in the borderland, what they would love to do is try a bowl of menudo, but they want to be able to try it any day of the week and at home and with friends, and they aren't able to make it themselves. They don't have that preparation skill. What would you recommend these young people?
I'll tell you what, it is a lot of preparation and skill. You got to really know how to make that menudo, and they have it at East Side Choice Meats, 2 different sizes there. Just take it to go. But it's very delicious, homemade, and take it home, warm it up in the microwave or oven, wherever you choose. But very delicious menudo there. East Side Choice Meats open, every day, any day of the week. You can go pick it up in the size that you want there. But they're going to enjoy it because it's different than just having a hamburger, a hot dog, cheeseburger, or something like that. It's besides that, it's just very kind of healthy there. It's spicy, and they're going to love it. They're going to like it. Andy, back to you.
Thank you, Charlie. We'll talk soon.
Thank you.
And we're back with Pastor Jeremy Kroeker. We're talking about youth ministry, and particularly that age range, 18 to 22, 24. You were talking before we went into the break about Baptist student ministries here in El Paso, and we were talking about this idea that a lot of churches have a youth group and an old people's group, but nothing in between, and really that age range of 18 to 24 is really pivotal in their lives. I think maybe a lot of churches are just expecting their youth to leave.
You know what? That's something when you read up and you hear statistics and you have real life faces that are connected to some statistics.
Yeah.
One that's been thrown around a lot in the last decade is about 70% of students who are involved in church in high school drop out of church involvement. And actually, some of the statistics vary on that, but some of it is that they drop out of the faith. 70% drop out of the faith by the time that they're 25.
Wow.
And again, the statistics are helpful or discouraging depending on how you look at it.
Sure.
But I think that we all have experiences and we see faces and we know names that fit that. And it can be discouraging, and it could lead us to expect it, or it could lead us to double down and first of all pray for the Lord to move in the hearts of young people. And I think one of the things that we can pray for is that God brings the right people around them. And it might not be us. You know, as much as we want it to be us, it might not be us. So God, please get the right people around them and do whatever you need to do to turn their hearts back and keep their minds and hearts focused on the truth and on walking with Jesus, because we know where the search for meaning and fulfillment leads most people.
Right.
And they've heard those testimonies and they've heard those Bible studies. But having the right people around them and the right voices to be an example and push them towards the truth, whether it's us or somebody else. I mean, we need to ask the Lord to reverse some of those statistics. And I know He can, and I've seen it. I've seen it in real life. Sometimes the students or the young people that we least expect to continue walking with the Lord are the ones who become leaders in our churches. And then the ones that we thought, we're not even going to bother with them. They're on the right track. They're good to go. They're the ones that end up struggling and even falling away from the faith. And so we never know what God has in store. We need to be in prayer, and we need to be doing whatever we can to provide that safe place for them to explore and ask questions and experience things, that safe place for them to come back to when they've made mistakes, when they've gone astray, that they know that they're still loved, cared for, and welcomed in our churches and our ministries. But, that's something that leads me back to prayer and leads me to look at how I've seen the Lord work through and reverse some of those statistics. So I think that's just an encouragement to anyone who's working with young people is you got to pray for them.
Yeah. And kind of what I'm thinking about, and maybe partly what you're saying, and I'd invite you to chime in on this, is I think some churches either fear that their youth are going to leave right after high school, or they've just resigned themselves to that.
Yeah.
And, you're just the interim director at the Baptist Student Ministries. You're at First Baptist Church. Is there a little bit of when you're not the interim director at BSM, is there a little bit of jealousy when you see your students going over there?
No, we send them there, man, because that's the thing is they need to know that we're not the only voice in their life. There's others, and again, there's only so much that we can do, even at a church where we have the resources to create and sustain a college ministry. We don't have to reinvent the wheel and do stuff that's already being done. So when students ask, hey, are we planning a retreat this year? No, but BSM's planning a retreat, and I'm going to be there. Are you going? And it's like, let's partner together, because they're going to make new friends. They're going to have different voices speaking truth into their life. And so we want to kind of I don't want to say use them,
Yeah.
but yeah, we do. We see what they're doing. We believe in it. And we see them as reliable ministry partners.
Right.
And we encourage students to connect wherever they can connect, whether it's in our church or whether it's in one of these ministries, or maybe they meet friends who are part of another church. Bless them, man. Like sometimes we're so fearful of losing our people.
Right.
But do you want to lose our people? Do you want them to walk with the Lord?
Yeah.
And sometimes they need that change of scenery. They need that different voice.
Right.
And if God provides them another place, whether it be through a parachurch ministry like the BSM, or they get connected with another church that's meeting the needs of college students and young adults in an effective way, then praise God that they find those resources and that they can connect with those people. And we just got to realize that God uses us at different times, at different seasons in people's lives. And I think as long as they're walking with the Lord and connecting with people, we need to celebrate that.
Yeah, I love what you said. Do you want to lose young people, or do you want them to walk with the Lord? And I think that's a good challenge for parents as well. I think a lot of times we would be disappointed if our kids don't choose the church that we go to.
Yeah.
But the church down the street might love Jesus just as much.
Yeah.
And somehow your kid found Jesus there. And as disappointing as it might be that they aren't going with you.
No, I feel that, man. And honestly, like, again, it's taken me a lot of years and a lot of practice to be able to speak so confidently or freely on that.
Yeah.
Because as a minister, as a pastor, I've struggled with that. Is like, oh, they're going there? Like, why? What's wrong with us? You know?
Yeah.
And it's like, well, nothing's wrong with you, but they're actually
like, I know I was second place in the pickleball tournament, but come on, I'm trying to put this youth ministry together.
Exactly.
You can keep on coming to First Baptist.
We'll change. We'll do it. We'll get better. You know. And honestly, that's what sometimes we do, is we end up worrying about, you know, what people think of our ministries, and we try to meet everybody's needs. And it's like, no, we're doing this, and this is where God's called us. And praise God if they're needing something else. Praise God that church over there or that ministry over there is providing that. And again, I get it. There's a lot of, you know, can be a real personal struggle for people and for parents, for leaders, for pastors, whatever. But you know, the big picture is we want them to learn to love the Lord their God with all their heart, soul, mind, and strength, and to love their neighbor as themselves. And you know, we have a role in that. And God can use us for a time, but He can also use somebody else for a time in their lives, and we're all part of that big picture. So.
Yeah. Love it. If you're just joining us with Pastor Jeremy Kroeker, he's the youth and college minister over at First Baptist Church, also talking about the Baptist student ministries here in El Paso. They're by the Whataburger on Mesa.
Yeah, and you know what? We have a big sign on the building that says no Whataburger parking. The parking lot at the Baptist Student Ministry is so small.
Is that sign bigger than the actual Baptist Student Ministry?
Almost. There's been a lot of issues, man. But anyway, the drive-through lane is right there. And sometimes if you come and park at the BSM building in the alley parking, you get boxed in because of the drive-through line at Whataburger. But anyway, anyone's welcome there. And if you are part of a church that loves young people but maybe doesn't have a lot of young people, you can minister to young people by supporting the BSM.
Yeah.
It's a totally support-raised ministry. All the staff members, there's 4 staff members currently and a new director on the way. They all raise their own support.
Yeah.
But a lot of what they do is sponsored by churches. So the Wednesday lunch outreach, which happens every Wednesday, tomorrow's the first one of this new semester. Every Wednesday, we're feeding 150 students who, most of them have never set foot in a church. Most of them are not necessarily even involved or aware of what the BSM is. They just got an invite to get some free lunch, and they're going to hear about the gospel, and they're going to hear about this resource that's right next to their campus where they can find community, friends, purpose, Jesus, all those things. And so churches will sponsor those lunches. Some of them cook a meal and bring it in. Some of them just send some funds that help the BSM fund those lunches. But if that's something that you'd be interested in, we'd love to get you on our schedule and let you know more about how you'd be contributing to the kingdom of God, specifically towards college-age students by sponsoring a Wednesday lunch or being involved in another way. So if you love young people and you're not sure how to serve them, call the BSM.
Yeah, no, that's super cool. And I did just get a message through the KELP radio app saying, "You're a bad winner." I'm not sure if that was for you or for me.
I think that's you, man. Because I didn't win.
Oh, that's true. I guess that would be me. I might have been a bad winner, but I did win. If you're just joining us, we're with Pastor Jeremy Kroeker. He's the minister of college and youth over at First Baptist Church. We're also talking about the Baptist student ministries here in El Paso. What a great resource for our city, particularly for our young people. Our young people are going through that crucial time of their lives, 18 to 24-ish, and we really need to serve them. And it's been so much fun for me to hear from my own kids about going there and meeting other like-minded young people who are just trying to figure things out, trying to serve the Lord, learning about Him, and are passionate enough to show up, which is super cool. We do need to go into a break. Before we go into the break, KELP Radio would like to thank all of its impact partners. These are local businesses, nonprofits, churches, educational institutions who have joined us in our journey to serve our community through radio ministry. And you can go to KELPradio.com, scroll down to that impact partner section, see all of them. Great people. It's too many to mention all at once. But if you run a business, own a business, manage, whatever the case would be, if you're interested in finding out what is involved in becoming a KELP radio impact partner, you can just reach out to us through the website or give us a call at the station. We'll walk you through that. Everyone who calls is super excited at how easy it is. And how affordable it is. But we could just have that conversation and see if we're a good fit for each other. And today I'm going to thank our impact partner again, Emmanuel Christian School. Just a reminder, tomorrow they do have an open house. If you're a parent and you have a child and you want to dip your pinky toe in the pool and see if Emmanuel School might be a fit for you. The open house is tomorrow at Emmanuel Christian School on the corner of Hawkins and Viscount. You don't need to register. Just show up. I promise you, the people will be super nice. You just register 8:15 in the morning to 11:30 a.m. And the most important thing for any El Pasoan is lunch is provided absolutely for free. Wow. So there's literally no downside to this. So again, Emmanuel Christian School, their website is emmanuelwarriors.org. A lot of great Christian schools in the community, and they come on this show often. This is just your opportunity to learn about one of the schools. So love that they're doing that, opening their doors, and that's tomorrow, open house at Emmanuel Christian School. We're going to go into a break. Do not touch that dial.
We'll be right back. Don't touch that dial.
Greetings, KELP listeners. My name is Terry Gray, and I have the joy and privilege of serving as the pastor of Calvary Chapel Sun City, located on the west side of El Paso. I also have the joy of connecting with the radio audience in the borderland through the Summons broadcast heard each weekday at 5 p.m. right here on this station. On Summons, we study the Bible book by book, chapter by chapter, verse by verse, precept by precept. Please join us each weekday at 5 p.m. for Summons right here on KELP.
Are you looking for a school that offers excellent academics in a safe, loving, Christ-centered environment? Emmanuel Christian School has been serving the families of the borderland through Christian education since 1969. With over 500 students in preschool through 12th grade, Emmanuel Christian School offers a wide variety of educational opportunities, spiritual discipleship, competitive athletics, and extracurricular activities. Learn more at our Discover Emmanuel open house. You will meet students and teachers, experience chapel, preview our curriculum, and tour the school. You can even grab a free lunch in our cafeteria. Join us Wednesday, January 21st from 8:15 to 11:30 a.m. at Emmanuel Christian School on the corner of Hawkins and Viscount to learn more. Or call us at 778-6160 for more information. That's Emmanuel Christian School, 778-6160, or online at www.emmanuelwarriors.org.
Greetings, KELP listeners. This is Terry Gray, pastor of Calvary Chapel, Sun City, and speaker on the Summons broadcast heard each weekday at 5 p.m. right here on this station. Calvary Chapel, Sun City is located at 960 West Borderland Road on the west side of El Paso. We hold services on Wednesday evenings at 7 and on Sunday mornings at 9 and 11. If you are without a church home, we would love to have you join us for worship and Bible study. You can find out more information about us on the web at www.ccsuncity.org.
We're back. You're listening to 915 Talk.
We are back, and you are listening to 915 Talk. I'm your host, Andy Frecka. Today we have Pastor Jeremy Kroeker in the studio. Jeremy, you got a call, or not a call, text from one of your students.
Yeah, so we're here talking about college age, and I disciple a couple of guys from our church that are in that 18 to 24 age group, and one of them just texted. He's like, I just left class, and I was scanning the radio and heard your voice.
Uh-huh.
So like, James, if you're still listening, man, thanks for...
Do not touch that dial.
Do not.
You're listening to the right station.
You are.
Go to a store, get some super glue, and just glue that dial. 1590 AM, 95.9 FM. You're listening.
It's awesome that his car actually has a radio.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah, super cool. That reminds me, shout out to the KELP radio app for those who do not have radios.
Yeah.
It's been super cool to see people like downloading that and using the chat function. They can send messages into the studio, listen to previous programs. Also, what's interesting is, you know who doesn't listen to the radio anymore?
Who?
The retired.
Oh, really?
They don't have radios in their houses.
Oh. I just think back when my parents were that age, they just always had the radio on at home.
Yeah. I mean, I'm of course generalizing, but many don't. And so now we have KELP on Alexa.
Oh, yeah. Sweet.
Yeah. So say, hey, Alexa, play KELP radio. And then you can feed your mind and feed your soul with great Christian teaching.
That's a great resource, man.
Yeah.
I'll have to do that.
Yeah. So it's super fun.
Hey, so I've got a story for you about Whataburger.
All
right. I
right.
just mentioned the Baptist Student Ministry
A
building.
Whataburger parable with Pastor Jeremy Kroeker.
So that
Just a story.
Whataburger on Mesa Street,
Yeah.
corner of Mesa and University, is actually when I was a college student. The assistant pastor at my church invited me to meet him there on a Thursday morning at 7 a.m.
Okay.
And I was like, what? And he was like, I'll buy you breakfast. And I was like, I'll be there, right? And so that turned into a weekly 7 a.m. breakfast every Thursday. Little did I know he was discipling me. And that became a really what opened the doors for me.
You thought it was just breakfast.
Yeah.
He got you.
And hanging out. So this is another encouragement. We're talking about, churches and college age students, and sometimes you don't have the resources to have a college ministry, but you can disciple people. Mm-hmm. And sometimes discipleship is just being there and inviting them for a meal, inviting them for coffee, just showing an interest in their life and just being that resource for them, Sometimes they don't even know what you're doing, and sometimes you don't know what you're doing either, but that consistent connection with them could be a game changer. That's really how the Lord opened up opportunities for me to serve in our church. Yeah. And through that, sensed a call to full-time ministry, and I've been doing that for 23 years. So, so that's something that all of us as churches, we need to know our people and provide them opportunities for that discipleship and that connection. Yes. So Whataburger on Mesa, that was a game changer for me, and now the BSM has a building right next to that, which I get to be a part of and be a supporter of.
Yeah, so. I think that's so cool, just like how simple it is. Mm-hmm. Most college students will agree to free food.
Yeah.
And just get there and listen to them, and they'll be happy for you to buy them breakfast, lunch, whatever, and they'll be thrilled that someone wants to hear from them.
And they'll help you download the KELP app.
If
you're not sure how to do that, they'll help you out.
Well, one of the things that's been kind of fun for me is one of my sons has been visiting. He visited BSM and then some other like kind of local I don't know, parachurch,
Yeah.
groups that are just these young people trying to seek after God. It's what's fun for me is it doesn't seem that they care what church you go to.
Right.
It's interesting, like the older you get, it's like, well, what church do you go to? And he comes home and I'm like, well, what church do they go to? Well, he's over there and over there, but like basically it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And it's just a different time in life.
Man,
and,
I'm so happy to hear that, Andy,
Yeah.
because I've been in youth ministry long enough here in the city, and I've always been part of what we call the El Paso Youth Ministry Network, EPYMN, which is just a group of like-minded youth leaders and youth pastors.
Yeah.
And for years, we're working together to do a couple of citywide youth events for the purpose of youth just being encouraged. Hey, we're all on the same team, man.
Yeah.
If you're preaching the gospel, and there's some essentials that
Sure.
that we want to make sure that we're getting right.
There's some guardrails there.
Yeah, and there's some that are outside of those
Yeah.
guardrails, and of
Right.
course that's a whole other discussion. But if you're preaching the gospel and you're pointing people towards Jesus, we're on the same team.
Yeah.
And so I love to hear that there's that networking, and some of it's based on relationships. Is like, hey, I know your pastor. He's a great guy. I know he loves the Lord. I had coffee with him last week, or, I know the youth leader at your church, or the college ministry director, or whatever. It's so cool that there's some of that networking and some of that fellowship that we've got. So these young people have grown up seeing this, fellowship, this unity among churches,
Right.
and it doesn't become an us against them thing.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, it makes me kind of excited for the future for El Paso as a city. Kind of this, I don't know if cross-pollination is the right word, but all these young people are just seeking after Jesus. They'll find the church home that they feel most comfortable with, and 5-10 years from now, they're going to connect again and again.
Yeah.
And maybe those churches will do some cool things together
Yeah.
and kind of bring the community together. So it's absolutely so vital that type of meeting among our young people right now for that reason as well. So
Yeah. And actually, Andy, so I was supposed to bring with me a guest, one of the staff members from BSM, but she got sick today. But I was trying to, maybe, I don't know. I was trying to get one of the young adults from our church who's been part of one of these other movements called the Maranatha Prayer House. He had class at 4:30, so he couldn't come with me, a super last minute invitation. But, I'd love for your listeners to hear more about that in the future.
Yeah, Maranatha, my kids are loving that as well. What a cool thing, for us old folks. Very often we don't get together for Sunday night church like we used to. But the kids are, and they're getting together for prayer, for worship,
and coffee.
That's how you do it.
Artisanal coffee.
Yes, artisanal coffee.
Yeah, handcrafted beverages.
Yeah, my boys pulled up after Maranatha on Sunday, and one of them had a coffee that was green. I don't know.
You're right, matcha. That's not coffee. But come on, you got to get with the times, Andy.
That wasn't coffee.
No, there's no green coffee, man. Come on.
Gotcha. Jeremy, with just a couple minutes we have left, if you could just pray one prayer for that specific age range in El Paso, 18 to 24. If you could dream one dream, snap your fingers and see one thing happen, whatever the case would be, what would that be?
All of ministry comes back to them experiencing Jesus. And so, a prayer is, Lord, do whatever it takes to help these young people experience you.
Yeah.
Not just know about you, but to truly experience you. And that could happen in so many ways, and I think that's why it's a powerful prayer. But, sometimes we pray for safety, God, protect them, Lord, keep them from making bad decisions, but it's like, Lord, just help them experience you. Whatever it takes, let them experience you. And sometimes that's a dangerous prayer because we don't know what it will take, right?
Right.
But man, if they could just experience Jesus, the verse that comes to mind is taste and see that the Lord is good.
Yeah.
But if they can just experience it and not just be taught it, that's when we see life change. And some people, they experience the Lord at a young age and they never turn back. And others need multiple experiences to really realize that this is the way, the truth, and the life.
Yeah.
But that's my prayer, is that these young people would truly experience the Lord, and once they do, they'll never turn back. They'll be in it, and they'll be our leaders, and they'll be shaping our community.
Amen, amen. We've been today with Pastor Jeremy Kroeker. He's the youth and college ministry pastor at First Baptist Church. We also spent a lot of time talking about the Baptist student ministry here in El Paso. It's so encouraging to hear that God is moving among all age ranges here in our city and our community. Thank you for coming in today, Jeremy.
Thanks for having me back.
Yeah.
You validated how special I am.
As we always say, let's learn to love our city, love our neighbors, and let's love especially those in our church who are of college age. And let's give God all the glory. This has been 915 Talk. You have been listening to 915 Talk, a production of Desert Voice Media. To listen to this or any previous edition of 915 Talk, just visit desertvoice.media and click on the 915 Talk link. Let's continue to learn to love our city, love our neighbors, and give God all the glory.
Do you have a special prayer need in your life? Or maybe you know someone, either a loved one or a friend, who is